I'm Rhonda Custer. I'm a trainer here at the YMCA, and I'm going to introduce you to an instructional video on how to work with free weights and machines, and we'll do it bit by bit, and I'm going to go over form and introduce you into exercising into slow transitions into each exercise so that you don't have to warm up. A light set of weights. First exercise is going to be a bicep curl, and you can start with a double bicep curl. So double bicep curls, when you form and when you're standing with all your free weights, you always, and even on your machines when you're standing, you want to stand in the position where you bend your knees ever so slightly, shoulders back, and form is always nice and smooth, no jerking. So one other thing too is you must concentrate on breathing. Breathing is always on the power stroke. So you inhale on the power stroke, exhale on the negative. One other thing too is focusing when you're lifting weights. You always want to jump around, stay in one spot. So your first exercise that you're going to start with is going to be a dumbbell curl, standing dumbbell curl. So your form is 1, 2. I want you to count 3, 4. Single arms, which brings you up to a count of 20. And you're going to do this 3 times, 3 repetitions. As you watch my hands stand at my side. From this angle here, you're going to turn them and bring the dumbbell up, back down. That's called a supinate motion. That works all your tie-ins and your main targeted muscles. Okay, so after your first set your weights down, relax for a moment. Then you're going to grab the weights and go into your next set. And again, the first set you could do singles, or the alternate with dumbbell curls is you can double at the same time. And now you're going to count just to 10. And it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And play closer forward to those knees are always bent. Reason being, we want to bend our knees ever so slightly. It takes the shock off the lower back. As we worked on the bicep. Now you're going to work on the reverse head, which is your tricep, the back of your arm. So this exercise is a cable push down. You want a straight bar, and always start with light weight on your first set, just like we did with the dumbbells. Start light, and then you can go heavy. So your first set, you're going to stand close to the cable. You can stand with a stridation, or you can stand with your feet apart. It's your preference. So I like to stand with my feet apart. You're going to start at 90 degrees. Make sure that the wrists are locked over, not down. Just put stress on the wrist. Your motion is straight down to your arms extend, back up, and go for a count. So power stroke on this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And take a break. You always want to work with your smaller muscle groups. So now we're going to hit our shoulders. So there's a couple of exercises that you can do for shoulders. One is a front lateral raise. Again, standing with your knees bent, shoulders back. Your movement from a side position is you're going to supinate the hands straight up, level with your ear as you bring your arm up. So you're going to alternate, so your movement is 1, 2, 3, keeping your arm completely straight, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That will be your first exercise for shoulders. Now shoulders being, it's kind of, there's so many tie-ins in your shoulders that on your second set, and again you're doing 3 sets of each one of these exercises. On your second set, you can move to a double lateral, which is, now you bring both arms up at the same time, is 1, 2, keeping your shoulders back, your knees bent. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you see as my movements are always consistent. And remember, on everything you do on the power stroke, quicker on the power stroke, slower on the negative. You need that resistance when you're using free weights. Same with machines as well. One other thing I wanted to explain to you is breathing. You have to get oxygen into the muscle on the power stroke. So the best way to do that is by counting. Thinking about breathing is too hard. So you hear me counting. So every time I strain, that's my power stroke, I'm getting oxygen into the muscles. So this exercise, we did a front medial head on the last exercise. Now we're going to hit the side medial head. So this one, weights stay in front of you, knees bent. I'm going to keep my arms on about a 5-degree angle, and I'm going to lift to height my ear again. So your movement is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And watch the angle of the weight. You want the weight starting from here. When I level it up, I bring it up so it's level. Again, you can tilt it a little bit and hit that rotator cuff if you want. It's just an option. So it would be up and twist, bringing the back in. That's an advanced move. Okay? So we've hit the bicep, the tricep, the 2 medial heads on the shoulder. Now we're going to hit the pec area. Again, working from small muscle groups to bigger muscle groups. Always start with the smaller muscle groups. So this is called a pec fly, a pec cable fly. You're going to grab one side and the other. You want the machines so that they're up to the top so you have angle on the pole. On this one, you want to stay in the middle of the machine when you pull the weight down, and you're going to step forward so you have an angle. You want one leg in front of the other on a stridation, bent over at the trunk area, and you're going to come across and cross your hands in front of you. You want to take your arms to 90 degrees on the back end. You don't want to let your arms fly out. You always want to keep them at a 90 degree, cross out in front of your chest. So again, your count is 1, 2, 3. I tend to open my hands on the extension. What it does is it pulls into the tie-ins in my pecs, my chest. You're going to do 3 sets of 10 of these. Letting go of the cable, you're going to walk to one side and then the other. Hit our outside of our pectorals, a pectoral minor and major. So now we're going to hit the center of our chest and the middle of our chest. So we can do that with dumbbells again. You're going to lay on a bench. If you're short, you can put your feet up on the bench. If you're taller, you can keep your legs on the floor. So when you lay down, I put my feet up. Reason being, you want your back flat against that bench. You're going to start your movement above your face, and as you have your weights together, you're going to turn your hands to the outside of your armpits and back up and touch. I want you touching on this end, not this end. That twist will help with the center striation in your chest. So the movement is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You want to make sure on the top end you squeeze your chest together. 9 and 10. This is a lat pull down. So now we're going to target our bigger muscle groups. This is your latimus dorsi. That's what gives you the V in your back. So on this particular machine, you put your weights on the far end there, and you want to start about 25 pounds. You're going to sit down, and you don't lean back and you don't lean forward. You want to sit straight up at 90 degrees. Very important that when you're sitting on machines, you don't put your feet back. Your feet need to be forward and set straight in front of you so it sets that table for balance. So the movement is, your power stroke on this one is coming down. So you want your hands out. The further out, the more it pulls on the latimus dorsi. So you want to go down to your shoulder level, bar shoulder level with your arms, and back up. Again, doing your exercises, don't turn your head, look forward. So my movement is 1, 2, down quick, up slow, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. On these machines, you can reverse your grip. You can hit inside, and it hits the rhomboids in your back. You can reverse grip and turn your hands the opposite way, scoot back, go straight up, come down. It hits more into the rear delts. So, and again, same movement, you're just changing the grip of your hands. So there's 3 different muscle groups you can work on this machine itself. And you can do it with just about any one of these type of machines. Fully row, it's the lower thoracic or in your lower trunk area in your back. So what you want to do is, on this one, form is very important. You want to plant your foot and then sit down. Then bring your other foot up. Everybody puts their feet up high. You want your feet down low, and you don't want your legs completely straight. You want them still bent a little bit. Your movement on this one, you can come to my side, walk to my side. You want to stretch forward so that you're beginning to stretch in the rear delts. And as you come back, you curl your chest up and you squeeze to the lower part of your belly. Notice I'm not leaning. So your movement is forward, squeeze, squeeze. Bringing your elbows back, keeping them inside your body. Count on this one is 1, 2, 3. And allow it to stretch. That stretch stretches out those rear delts. This is an exercise that I do that helps with stability of learning to squat. The gravity of the cable gives you leverage so that you learn to squat properly. So you want to put a rope on a lower cable and stay at an average weight about 30 to 40 pounds. You have to have weight on here. If you don't have any tension, the exercise isn't any good. So on this one, you want to step back. You don't use a standard stance, you use a sumo stance, which means you know, sumo, put your feet wider. So on this, you're going to, as you squat, the arms go forward. You're pretending when you squat, you have a string that you're following straight down. You don't want to lean forward or back. You want to follow that straight down. So as I go down, my arms go forward. As I come back, I pull the cable to my hips and squeeze my butt. So your movement is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Try to come down so that you get at least to a 90 degree. Do not go past the angle of the knee. You can damage the knee. So this works the quadriceps. On this one, you have several adjustments on these machines. You'll have an adjustment for where the foam pad, you want it in the crook of your foot. Change your weight before you get on it. Usually put it around 30 pounds when you're starting out. You'll have an adjustment here. This is the angle in which where the knee starts. You want it at 90 degrees. So usually it's at 1 or 2. On this one, I get on, and sometimes you have to pull it out so you can get into the machine. You want to pull the backrest up once you're on the machine. On this one, it's real important that your knees be right at the bottom of the seat. You don't want your knees extended too far forward or back, because if you do, it's not going to hit the quadricep. So on this one, once you get adjusted, there are 3 segregated muscles in the quadricep. So your first set, you're going to do an exercise where your feet are straight, and you're going to do a count of 10 again. Power stroke is 1, 2. Now, pay attention to your feet on this movement. You can keep your feet normal, and as you come to the top, curl your toes to your nose. That makes you flex the quadricep. You're going to do 10 of those. After you've done 10 of those, you rest. You can take your feet out if you want, if you feel too much pull. Next exercise, you're going to turn your toes ever so slightly in. Turning your toes in now is going to work your T-band. So, and you don't want to turn your toes too much because it could put stress on the knees. Just a little bit. And so you're going to go for 10 then. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The next one, now you want to work the intercostals. So you're going to turn your toes ever so slightly out and go for 10. Notice my feet don't change in the movement. They stay on that pad. Movement is consistent, and when I come to the top, I want my legs straight. You can slow down if you want on the top and flex. You'll get more blood to the muscle. This is one of your main exercises for building quadriceps. It works your glutes and your tie-ins to your hamstrings and quadriceps, but especially into your glutes and quadriceps. Glutes being your bottom. On this, you want to push the weight back so you can get your feet in. All these machines have an adjustment. Again, staying real light on this, maybe 40 to 50 pounds. On this one, you're going to release it, come down so that my legs are 90 degrees. You're going to feel real crunched up here. It's uncomfortable. You want your feet up high, again, so that it's 90 degrees. Don't put your feet down. Put stress on the knees. So your movement on this one is just extend out and back down. Again, I'm never overextending my knee in anything I do. I always come to about a 2-degree angle, back down. Again, on this one, you can do the same positioning with your feet if you like. You can do 10 turning your toes in, 10 turning your toes out, 10 straight. But you don't have to. On this one, you can just leave your feet straight if you want. Another one you can do at the end of that one is work your calves. You're going to walk your feet so your legs, now this is the time where your legs are straight, and off the ball of your foot, up, and just extend up. Turn your toes in too, and you do the same 10 in, 10 straight, 10 out, because you have 3 segregated muscles in the calf. And again, really simple, nice easy movements. 1, 2, 3. Same with inward. Don't torque your feet too much. 2, 3, and so on. You need to work the back of the leg, which is your hamstring. You want a bit of a moderate weight, but you don't want too light and you don't want too heavy. This one you have to pay particular attention to your form on this one, because you can hurt your back if you don't keep your form good. On this one, I keep my feet close in, not way out. On this, your back is going to stay straight. This is the only time I'll tell you to lock your legs back. You're going to bend down. As you go down, take the weight to the floor, keeping your back straight, come up. As you come up, supinate, squeeze your butt. So your movement is nice and slow on this exercise. You'll feel a stretch at the bottom of the movement into your glutes and hamstrings. So it's nice and slow. Stretch. 1, 2. Noticing my back stays completely flat. I'm not rounding over. My movement is nice and smooth and slow. Okay? Or you can do it off of the end of a bench, off the side of a sofa, off the side of a bed, as long as you can lean back on this one. Your movement on this one is you're going to lean back and hold on. You bring your knees up and bring your feet straight out. Bring your knees in your chest. That's your movement. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. You can alternate the movement and work the serrats and obliques by changing your foot motion from straight. You roll from cheek to cheek, and you're making a U with your feet that hits the serrats and the obliques. So roll from cheek to cheek. Yep. Sitting on the end of a bench, end of a chair, you bring your knees up, at the same time down, leaning back, holding the bench. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Machine for doing core. It's hard to get into. On this one, it leans back, so you have to put a lot of force on the shoulders to stay up in the machine. But once you get up in the machine, you want to rest on your elbows. You keep your legs straight. There's a couple ways you can do this. I cross my feet and I bring my knees up to my chest and back down. Up to my chest and back down. You can go side to side, working serrats and obliques. You can also do 1 and then straighten your legs. And straight. Work the serrats and obliques. On this one, I always put a pad on this bench. If you want this bench level, you can readjust it up or down. But you want it so that the top of your hip is in line with this bench. You're going to take the weight, put it in the opposite hand. Feet are going to be propped against the ledge on the machine. Hand behind your head. That's your movement. So you're coming down where your body's straight and up and up. This again is an extremely hard exercise. So if you haven't done a lot of core exercises, this is a bit of a tougher exercise. This one is a compounded movement, which means you're moving your whole body in regards to this exercise. And studies have shown that using these compounded movements burn more fat in the core area than isolated. So in this movement, again, you're going to do that sumo stance. You're going to grab your kettlebell. Remembering your squat position where you have a line, you're going to come down to 90 degrees and throw the weight straight up over your head. So down, straight up over your head. And that's your movement. You're going to do 30 of these, 3 sets of 10. Okay? The other one is an alternate, which you can do, is another one I like. Again, wide stance, kettlebell in one hand. You're going to squat down again, sumo stance, the inside of the leg, and up. And again, this is working your serrats and obliques. You're going to do 10 one side, and then switch, and 1, 2, 3, and so on. Stepping is a good cardio exercise that you can do during legs or finish it off at the end of the exercise. Stepping is based on the level of the step. If you don't have good balance, something you've not been doing a lot of, just use the platform. If you have better balance and stronger legs, you can bump it up and put 1 or 2 underneath. I like to use 2. I get more of a workout with 2. And you'll find this over time. You'll know what your abilities are. You're going to grab some weights. They can be light weights, heavy weights, whatever you can handle. And all you're going to do is step up and step down. You're going to do 30 of these consecutively without stopping. So it's up, up, down, down. I keep the weight close to my side in towards where my hip flexors are. 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on up to 30. Now, because of COVID in all of the gyms now, you always want to spray a piece of paper towel. There will be spray stations in every gym that you go to. Spray it, anything you touch, whether it be a free weight, if you sat on a bench, you want to wipe it down. Any free weights that you've used, you want to grab them and clean the collars. Any machines that you've touched, any place where your hands have been, you want to touch it with your hand, touch it with a cloth.